28 years old now.
29.
You're 29.
Dude, I'm 29.
And when did we meet? You were 13.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, I wonder if
And
we could.
stealing
I wonder if
cars.
we can remember the month. What? And stealing what?
Cars.
Stealing car. Dude, I wonder if we can remember the month. Can you actually think?
Well, it had to be July. You were mowing grass.
I know, but was it July?
July
so
or
I'm trying
August?
to find out exactly how old I was.
Maybe July. I think it was July. Maybe June. It
I
was
don't know,
either
what were
June
you
or
doing?
July. Well, what was I doing?
I think I was going.
I think I was sitting at the table having a beer.
I think I just did Hunter's Ed, and I don't remember when that was. But like the reason I know is because remember that guy you were talking about, that Russian guy, that you like ran into you or T-boned you or something over there.
Oh,
on
the
Eloika?
woman, the Russian woman.
The woman, yeah.
Yeah, she flipped a U-turn with a minivan, and she got out and started yelling at me like it was my fault.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, you T-boned her.
yeah, I was coming home. I was coming up.
Eloika.
Yeah, Eloika. Yeah, no, not Eloika.
Bismarck or something.
Yeah, Bismarck.
Bismarck. Okay.
And she was picking her kids up from the school. They were walking, and she picked them up
From
in
the
the
bus?
middle of the road, and she just flipped a U-turn right in the intersection, and I nailed her. And then she got out and she started yelling at me like, "Why'd you hit me? Why'd you hit me?" And the guy, the neighbor guy, comes out of his house and he starts yelling. He's like, "I saw the whole thing." I was like, "Go back in your house. You didn't see nothing."
So he was blaming you?
Oh yeah, he said I was speeding. I was like, "How fast was I going?"
He's like, dude,
You
I'm
were
in a
sitting in your-
wheelchair.
I said, "How fast was I going then?" And he's like, "Well, I know you were speeding." I'm like, "You were in your house. I was in my car. You were probably sitting on your." I said it too. I said, "You're probably sitting on your ass watching your TV in the middle of the day."
Exactly. Dude, that was most. That's
And
most of the people do.
she's like, "Well, I'm gonna call my husband or my brother or somebody to come down," and she was hysterical and she didn't have insurance.
Did she have brown hair? Or what color hair?
Oh,
did she
yeah, it
have?
was brown, long. Yeah,
Yeah, that was the.
yeah.
I forgot the dude. Actually, like
I think I told you where she lived. I pointed her out.
couple
yeah,
days ago, we were talking, and I was actually somehow we got on the subject, but it wasn't with the crash. It was like about her husband, and I was asking my mother-in-law what her name or what their last name was, and nobody.
Oh,
We couldn't figure it out. But
I ended up having to call the cops because
They used to go to our church.
she was just gonna leave.
They used to go to our church.
Yeah.
Well, dude, of course, it's Russians. They just take it home, like really quick.
Yeah, she was just gonna leave, and I was like, "No, you're not gonna leave." And then
And
I
then
got that
what?
car fixed.
You
Well,
got your car fixed?
I got my car
You
fixed.
didn't have to pay for her stuff?
No, I didn't. She didn't have insurance. She probably got sued by my insurance company. But then that Subaru, I got it fixed, like $1,200 worth of damage.
Wait, the white one?
Silver one, 99.
Oh, it's not the one that you
No.
had when I was around?
No.
Oh.
I had it parked on the side of the road, and the STA bus slid down the hill and just totaled it.
Are you serious?
Like
Wait, Ani Loika?
like 2 months after this.
Ani
whole thing happened. Yeah.
Ani Loika?
Yeah.
Wow.
I paid $13,000 for that car, and the city of
Oh my
Spokane
goodness.
paid me $12,500 for it.
After? Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I drove it for like a year and a half, so I got my money back.
I was like Mark right now.
But, and then, so I was just in the house one day. I don't even think I had, no, I had
Dude,
Tonka. I had Tonka.
I think you were, are you talking about when Nike showed up?
Yeah, because I
Dude,
had
you
Tonka.
were outside.
I was outside, but I had Tonka,
Yep.
and you walked up and asked if you could mow.
Was I with a lawnmower?
Yep, you had your lawnmower.
Dude, I used to walk with that lawnmower.
That thing was a beater, too, if I remember right.
Yeah, but listen to this. I was telling my brothers this the other day. Like, the life they had growing up, like, dude, they had, like, cars, trucks, whatever, pulling lawnmowers. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I walked everywhere with that lawnmower.
Yeah.
Like, lawnmower.
I know, man. You were like, well, you were at
Weed
my
whacker?
house, and we were, what?
Dude, I walked miles, 4 or 5 miles away from my house and mowed lawns.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Because you were an easy mile from your house, from my house.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Anyways, and
That was
I
a
walked
good
up.
time. And I remember you're like, I go, yeah, you can mow my grass or something like that, whatever it would, whatever the conversation was. And then, like you are now, you're like, okay, well, I get paid, $45 an hour.
Yeah, I'm sure. Dude, I think I mowed your grass for like 15
It
bucks.
was. It
Oh,
was
no, 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 no.
15.
Here's what happened. I think you were, first, I think you were like, yeah, let's do it. And then you said you're going to talk to your landlord, which was, what's his name?
Yeah, Bill. Yeah,
Bill?
Bill.
Was it Bill?
Yeah.
Anyways, so,
He wasn't my landlord.
what do you mean he was your landlord?
I wasn't renting from him. I was just house sitting
Oh. Well, anyways,
for
you were
7 years.
I'm gonna ask him if you can do weekly or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Because then I
Yeah.
started mowing weekly, but I only mowed your lawn probably like what?
Yeah, I don't know.
I just put it on a route my route as I went
Yeah.
by, and I just mow it. But like
Yeah.
95% of the time, the grass didn't even grow.
It did, and that grass was terrible. It's all
And the
fungus-ridden,
backyard was just like
bumpy, and
just straight.
yeah.
I remember Tonka running around back there for like a little bit, and I was
Tonka.
like, dude, we never mowed it because it was just.
When I got Tonka, he was taken out of Ellensburg. He was tied up to a tree in Ellensburg, and he was taken out of Ellensburg. And when I got him, I had to work, so I didn't know what to do. And so I put him I left the door open to the backyard.
There was like a kennel back there, right?
No, there was a picnic table, and he's a husky, and that's their thing. They got to be up high. I'd go
He'll
around the
jump up?
block to see what he was doing when I'd leave for work. He'd be laying up on the picnic table,
On the
just
top.
looking around. I love that dog.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was
So
cool.
so yeah, I don't remember how long it was after you and I met or after you mowed my grass that I think you come over or you called me. Maybe you came over and said your mom wanted to meet me.
Dude, I wonder if I had a phone back then.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe I didn't. I think I got my first phone at 15.
Yeah.
So I was.
Yeah, you
Or-
must
or-
have come over and just said that that your mom wanted to, or your family or your mom or whatever, and then
Well, because
then they show up that night with you. Yeah.
yeah. Well, look.
And all the kids, like
Here-
a bunch of little chicks.
Here's the crazy thing. The crazy thing is that our family, like or me personally, I never knew anybody in a wheelchair. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe I knew of someone like in Russia back in the day. Like, we knew one dude that just laid in bed and never got out, and he was
Yeah.
like paralyzed from like neck down.
Yeah.
And he was like, his wife fed him and everything. That's the only, and I was like
Oh,
5.
man.
I don't remember that,
Yeah.
But then I met somebody in a wheelchair, and like to me that was like, man, this is crazy, Like
Yeah,
this guy's like, not like in a wheelchair because he's fat, like just because he broke his neck.
Yeah.
And so, and then that's why I'm pretty sure that's why I went home and told my parents like, hey, look, I met this guy, blah blah, and
Yeah.
like he likes borscht or whatever. And my mom,
Ugh.
oh, I gotta feed everybody. Ah! Let's
When
go.
your mom showed up and brought that big stock pot full of borscht, like, dude.
Wait, was that the first time you eaten borscht or no?
Yeah.
You never tried it?
No, Russian borscht,
Oh.
not like restaurant, like
Oh, okay.
the soup place downtown that were all Americans made a borscht that was just nothing but beets. It's like, this is not no.
No,
Even
that's actually true. Like I actually tried one in a restaurant, and it was like, I don't even know how to say it. It was like bouillon, like a
Yeah.
how do you say bouillon? Like a
Yeah.
broth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it.
And
there
that's
was
it.
no like potatoes,
Nope,
no
nothing.
cabbage, no
Yep.
meat. It was just like
Well,
you just
your
dip your
mom
bread
brought me
in it.
that big stock pot full and homemade bread, and
right.
man,
slurped it.
all night long. I was getting up like at 2:00 in the morning.
Oh
like,
yeah,
"Ooh, hey."
I remember you told me that. You just get up and just
I just get up and take eat like 5 or 6 big spoonfuls of, and by morning, dude, that whole stock pot was gone.
that's awesome.
It was so good. And then
Wait, when did you come over to our house? And then you started
well-
coming over to our house, right?
I think you were never there. I only came over to your house. Well, yeah,
That was later, a little bit.
I came over to your house, but the only time I ate dinner at your house was
Oh right.
Candace and I ate there when you were
Oh,
in
when I
South
left.
Korea.
Wow.
Yeah. And we had duck and french fries.
At my house?
Yeah. Your
Wait,
dad.
like actual duck meat?
yeah, yeah. Your dad made duck and French fries
Like potato
because he
French
had
fries.
just got a French fry. He just got that French fry
What?
cooker or whatever. It was an actual French fry cooker. Because I
Wow.
remember either Luba or yeah, it must have been Luba told me that your dad had just got this French fry cooker.
Like a
and-
maker? Or like
um
a cooker? What is a French
deep
fry
fryer.
cooker? Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah,
Well, dude, imagine like a Russian family.
I know, right?
Dude, back in the day,
Because you don't grow up with that stuff, do you?
yeah, we never went to fast food or anything.
Yeah.
So like, we had no idea what fast food was, or most like parents or whatever. And then we would go to like McDonald's or something, order like not 15, probably I think it was like right around 15 or 20 sometimes McChickens, and like they would or whatever, or like half cheeseburgers, half McChickens, and then we would just drive home. Or you bring it all home, and then everybody would just get one, like,
Yeah.
And we had no idea. We never ate meals or nothing because we would always be borscht and
Yeah, right.
You know,
I
like-
good food.
yeah, whatever, just soups and everything that parents made. Or
That's
whatever.
so funny because
Dad would make
if you
flo-
think about how crappy that stuff is, but
I
since
know.
since you never have it, you don't think. Oh,
But see, we don't know. Yeah, so we're like,
I
oh, dude,
know.
McDonald's so cool. But it was like when we were younger, and then
Yeah.
it's funny because like we went to Russia with Mark and my wife, and they, like my cousins, are like obsessed with McDonald's. Like
Yeah.
obsessed, like kind of like how we were when we were small. Not obsessed, but like we were like, this is crazy. Like, dude, we went to eat out and like
Yeah,
got hamburgers. That's how we were. But anyways, I don't even forgot what we were talking about. What were we talking about?
Meeting your parent or
Oh,
going over there
oh,
and
oh.
eating. Yeah.
Oh, you were talking about fries. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, that's when you and Candace came over.
Yeah, that's when me and Candace came over and we had fries.
They just invited you randomly.
Yeah, and
My mom.
but your mom was like, because she must have known the way I was. I was like, no, that's okay. And she said, Bob, you're coming.
Yeah, because see, like, I understand how you like, that how you can on your own. You can, like,
Yeah, I
do the
take care of
stuff that
myself, I
you do, and
do
you take care of
everything,
yourself.
yeah,
My
yeah.
mom doesn't and didn't believe that.
Yeah.
She's like, oh no, we gotta help
I
him.
know.
Oh,
I
he's
know.
skinny. Oh,
Yeah.
he's, like he doesn't have any food, and I'm
She
like, Mom,
always-
stop.
yeah.
Like he will never ever be fat. Like he
No.
can't get fat. It's
No.
like, what is his bone gonna get fat? It's
I
like-
know,
he's
Yeah.
nothing but skin and bones. He doesn't even have any skin.
And I'm just, I don't know. I guess you guys been in my life since then.
Since 2000.
And now and then I moved from Spokane to out here. Well, not out here. I moved to Olympia.
Oh right.
But and then you guys bought that property over there. So
Wait, you moved straight from Mallorca to Olympia?
yeah, I did. Cause Candace lived in Olympia still.
Oh yeah, because I left
And you
from
were
the
in South
Rowan
Korea,
house.
yeah.
I left from the Rowan house, yeah. Because when I was gone, they moved.
Yeah,
They moved
yeah,
without
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Hoping you wouldn't find out.
Where did they go? Just come back. Dude,
My
it's
bad.
it's so awesome going back to that place. I'm not even joking.
That's
like,
so funny too that you
it's
say
so
that because
crazy.
I go by there.
Where, that house or your house?
No, that house, your
That
house, your
yeah.
house growing
There's
up.
so many
And I
memories.
don't think about it like you think about it because you grew up there. I look at it like, oh, Eugene used to live there. But when you go back there,
Dude.
it's like you could probably remember
Dude.
shooting rats and
Peter, yeah, I actually shot a mouse like 15 times in the back with the dog. No
That's
joke.
awesome. That's
No
awesome.
joke. No, so here's it was funny because me and Peter were talking the other day. He's like, it'd be awesome if we just showed up there one day and went inside or knocked on the door and told the guy, like, look, I'll give you $100 if you blindfold me and I'll walk through this whole house without hitting one wall.
Yeah, yeah,
Because we
right.
could,
Yeah, oh,
like,
yeah, yeah.
dude, that place, like, I can literally close my eyes and walk through the whole building, and I will tell you where the inch, where every inch of wall is. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty.
that
And that
place-
wasn't a big house
yeah, just
for
3
all
stories,
you kids.
2 rooms upstairs, 1 room, living room, kitchen, dining room middle, and then downstairs we had like the family room. Were you ever downstairs?
No.
Dude, you should have seen my room where I lived. Oh my goodness. Anyways, That was a crazy. That house has so much memories. Like we actually went by the other day and stopped by the neighbor's house
Yeah.
and like went in and said hi. And the dude's like already old and
Oh,
he's
really?
like old, like he's gonna die. And him and his wife are still like smoking like crazy. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, dude, come on.
I'm so glad we got out of Spokane. But
Anyways,
yeah.
it was cool to. There's that, yo Victor, that Trita Jat song. That's our house. There's this Russian song. It's like three etages старый. Anyways, it's like 3 floors of like a old house. They, like with where you grew up with your family. And it's like
Okay.
the whole song. Like we can literally sing it about our family.
Nice.
Because out of all the people, we had dude, we actually had the highest house on the block anywhere. Like down the whole street that way and that way. It was like the tallest house. All of them were
Yeah.
single level, and ours was double. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's
Remember
yeah.
that?
I remember, yeah.
It was like.
Yep. I remember that little bitty tree your mom planted. Then it was
Oh,
like huge.
Dude, the tree was
It was just a little
a
leaf.
foot and a half.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
even less. Maybe like,
Yeah.
15 inches
And
when
then
she
it was
got
like
it.
10 feet.
No, dude, right now it's taller than the house.
Oh, wow.
It's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
I was like, and what's crazy is I used to water it. And like I would just turn on the hose and leave it just for hours,
Yeah.
and it would just like flood the
It
whole
likes
place.
that, yeah.
And I was like, dude, nice. And it would just grow. Like it would be like this tall, like 3-4 feet tall, but the stump was like, and it just kept doing this,
Yep.
this, and then it just went wham.
Yeah, you
Just
bet.
way up.
Sprung up, yeah. Nice.
Let's talk about how you.
How I ended up in a wheelchair?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell us the story, the full
The full on.
from the beginning.
Full Monty.
Oh, here we go.
Well, let me see. How did I end up in a wheelchair?
Bob Blake trying to make it dramatic.
Oh, I know what it was. I
Bob, don't make
anticipated-
it worse than
I
it was. It was like
well,
so bad.
I went to a tarot reader,
What is that? Is that where they read? like your-
witch,
Oh yeah, where they read your.
and she told me about this guy named Biden that's going to become president, and he's going to
Later.
give a bunch of stuff away.
Bob, no current events.
People
He's
that
like,
are
he's
in
gonna give away-
wheelchairs. I was like, oh well, I'm not in a wheelchair, but I want to be
But I
in
want
a
one.
wheelchair.
Are they expensive?
No, I ended up in a wheelchair because I fell asleep driving home from work. Now, the reason I fell asleep driving home from work is because I built barns during the wintertime, and I was working for a guy in Hayden, and we were building barns, and we were building a barn for Patty Duke. She's an actress, probably
Oh yeah, barn or like a shed?
a barn, horse
Okay, an
barn,
actual barn.
yeah,
Okay. Nice.
up in the Harrison Flats, up above Coeur d'Alene Lake. And it was funny. We were up. We had to be on the site at 6:00 in the morning. So I lived in Medical Lake, and the job site was Harrison, or above Coeur d'Alene
What
Lake.
is that like in
It's
hour? Easy.
easy, yeah, easy,
Wow.
easy. And so I drove there. I drove to the shop in Post Falls, and then I took the guy that I work with couldn't drive. He didn't have a license, so I drove the shop truck, and we headed up to the Harrison Flats to build this barn, and for her, and we had about a week to do it, but my boss was a roper, steer roper, or a team roper, not a steer roper. What?
That was good. Okay, that was good. Okay, keep going.
And he
Oh, man, I couldn't. That was
so,
just-
so I met John, my boss, at the fair, and he hired me to just build barns. I didn't know,
Wait, John, I thought it was Will.
no,
Who's
Will was my boss, that I packed horses for.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
But John was the guy that I worked for building barns during the wintertime, and that's when I broke my neck. And so I was working for John, building barns, and it was like Friday night, and he had to do some roping the next day with a friend of his, and So he wanted to get the barn done. So we worked until like 8:45 that night, finishing that barn. And I he lived in Hayden, and so I went to his house after we actually got the barn finished, and so I went to Hayden to his house and had a little bit of dinner, and I lived here in Medical Lake and was coming home after I left his house. I didn't know it at the time, but I had pneumonia. I thought I was just had a cold or whatever, but I ended up having pneumonia. And I only found this out whenever I was in the hospital. But I chewed Copenhagen back then, and I was just headed home. I put a dip in. I turned the heater on, and
So you think the dip made it worse?
yeah,
Made
because
you
it
fall
totally
asleep?
relaxed me. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that nicotine just kind of, and so I fell asleep. But I remember falling asleep on the steering wheel, and then I looked up, and I remember just going down the freeway, and then I fell
oh,
asleep.
where was this?
It was on the by the Broadway exit. I was almost to Broadway,
From
come
Coeur d'Alene.
from Coeur d'Alene coming west, and so I I fell over in the passenger seat, and I had borrowed my Uncle John's Volkswagen Rabbit, so I was driving his car, and I I fell over in the passenger seat and just fell asleep. And I remember going off the road and over the frontage road, over the embankment, and going through fence. I remember hearing all this, but I didn't. But I was. It was like I was dreaming it, and I don't remember hitting. I hit a telephone pole. That's what stopped me. But I rolled my car. I rolled that car like 6 times, I guess. And I only knew all this stuff because there was a guy that come into the hospital after I was in there for like a week, and he saw me on the freeway. He was right beside me. He could see me. He could see.
Oh, what happened?
He seen the whole thing, and he thought I
Wow.
was.
Can he honk?
Well, he did. He said he even tried to hit my car because I was going on incoming traffic,
Oh my
and
goodness.
he kept me from
Probably thought
going
you were
over.
drunk or something.
Yeah, probably. Weird story, but
That's
that's how
crazy.
I ended up breaking my neck, and then I was uh I was
So you
I
woke
was
up.
unconscious, but then I woke up in the ambulance, and I wasn't paralyzed then. I mean, I was in shock, but I wasn't paralyzed. I could move my arms, and I tried to sit up, and I rattled off a phone number, and it was my girlfriend Amy's phone number, and her brother Guy was the EMT that was
Driving.
trying to
Or with
trying
you.
to yeah stabilize me, and I bet it got real for him real quick when he heard that.
That'd be so crazy.
Realized his
It's like,
little sister's
yeah,
boyfriend was
imagine like
the
if it's
guy he
somebody
was
else you
working
don't
on.
know, yeah.
Yeah, right.
But when
Yeah.
it's like somebody you know, it's
And he knew me, but I guess he just didn't. Maybe he didn't recognize me, or because there was no blood on me. I didn't have any scrapes, anything on the outside of my body. It was all inside. I even hit the windshield. My baseball cap was stuck in the corner of the windshield up
like,
top,
oh,
and it was stuck there. But there was no. I didn't have any blood on me. Nothing like that. It was weird.
that's so crazy.
Yeah. So that's how I broke my neck, and
Then
then
you woke up in the hospital.
yeah, was in the hospital for 7 months, and prior to that job, well, I guess that was the job. I only had that job for about up until I broke my neck for about 4 months or 3 months, I guess,
So
and
that was winter.
yeah, that was October 8th, 1993. Yeah. That's when I broke my neck, and I left. Oh, well, actually, it wasn't even that long because I left the lodge in the middle of September.
So you would it was straight summer. The lodge was summer.
Yeah, the
Like
lodge
full
was.
summer?
Um, we opened the lodge up at May
Mm.
May 5th, and then we closed it. We had hunting season for the first couple of years that I worked up there, so we closed that down in about the middle of November after hunting season. Um, but this time of year, or this last year that when I broke my neck there,
Hmm.
we didn't have hunting season. We closed down in September. That's why I was out of the lodge at September working for John.
Dude, isn't that crazy? Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
gonna interrupt. Isn't that crazy how like just like a certain event
I
will just
know.
like just move your life like
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
way. Like for this one, it was like you stayed like a little bit later to finish some shop and
yeah,
going
yeah,
down late, fell asleep. It's like
yeah,
crazy. Like
yeah.
what if you would have been going home 2 hours earlier? You
I
would have been
know.
good
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. His wife told me to stay the night because
And
I
you
was
didn't?
tired. She said
Oh
you could sleep on
man.
the couch. You guys worked hard all day. It's no need to drive. Because from Hayden to Medical Lake's not that far, but when you worked all day, and there's all kinds of things that I could have done different. But
Well, now
like I
look
said,
look at
I've
the
gained
bright
more.
side. Now you
I've
got
gained.
wheels.
Yeah. Well, and I say this to a lot of people and a lot of people look at me like I'm crazy or I need a therapy, but I've gained a lot more than I ever lost. I mean, I had a great life as an
Hmm.
upright, able-bodied man, but from what I've gained from being in a wheelchair is the
That's true,
measure of
yeah.
life.
Yep, there you go. Nailed it. That's how we
Yeah.
start the podcast. No, I'm
Exactly.
kidding. What I've gained is more than what I.
Yeah.
Bob's famous quote.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
So, anyways, talk about the how you got started up at the lodge.
up at the lodge.
Yeah, how old were you and stuff like that? Like, when did you get up there? Oh, why did you go there?
Yeah, because I grew up in Alaska and I
Dust the hat. I'm kidding.
yeah,
He's Alaska
I
hat.
grew up in Alaska and I didn't have any uncles up there. It was just my dad
Hmm.
and us kids and my mom. And my dad would always talk about my uncle Gil, his brother, and how he was a cowboy and always working for he packed mules for the Grand Canyon. And
Wait, at the time?
wow, dude, I don't know why right now.
At the time, or
Yeah.
at the time he packed in,
Well, no,
or did he work at the lodge already?
no, he worked at the lodge, but when I heard stories about him, he worked for the Grand Canyon. He only
It's
worked at the
crazy.
lodge when we moved down
It's like
here.
some movie character,
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. It's funny, we talk about this and it doesn't bother me, but now it's starting to
Creep
it's
in.
it's yeah, it's kind of making me
Just start crying.
only because it's such a good memory,
Yeah,
It's
well,
such
the
a
good
good
memories are
memory.
the ones that you're like, oh
Yeah.
man, this is crazy. The bad memories like you can laugh about. No kidding.
Yeah.
And the good memories you just cry.
And so my dad would just tell me about my uncle Gil, and I always wanted to meet him. I kind of put him up on a pedestal when I was a kid, and my dad, the economy kind of dumped in Alaska from my dad's business, and so he wanted to be around his family, and all his family lived right here in this area, and
Here, like Spokane or whatever.
Medical Lake,
Medical Lake.
Airway Heights,
Mhm.
Davenport, yeah. And so he bought this place, bought this farm here, and
This was when.
1988. Yeah.
So you lived here for
So we moved here in '88, and he stayed in Alaska and closed
did?
down. My
your
dad.
dad? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he stayed down. He stayed in Alaska. He moved us down here, and then he went back up there to get my sister
Mm.
and close everything down, all his business stuff down. And so, I went to school. Typical teenage boy. Went to school. Played baseball.
Here.
Yeah, here in
Okay.
Cheney. Yeah, and didn't I met my uncle Gil, and he was the guy that I thought he was. He was matter of fact, when I met him, he was not working at the lodge. When I met him, he was living in Cheney, working for a guy feeding cows with
It's that big cattle ranch.
yeah. He was feeding cows, but they fed cows with a buck wagon and work horses. So he Speaking of Buck, hey Buck.
That was good.
Speaking of Buck. um, so I met him, or I knew him, but he was feeding cows. Um,
And then he started.
and then he and then he ended up working for the lodge.
So you met him.
My Uncle Gil started working at the lodge packing horses for Will and Barb Judge. St. Joe. Then it was called St. Joe Fishing and Hunting. They changed the name later on to St. Joe Outfitters and Guides.
Mm.
But so my Uncle Gil's brother, my other Uncle John, and my Uncle Gil's wife, and his three boys, Daniel, Jesse, and Boone, were all going to go camping up where Uncle Gil worked. And I wanted to go with him, so go up there too. So I hitched a ride with him and went up there we were up there for 3 or 4 days, and he would come down packing horses every day, or pulling a pack string every day.
Wait, that's where he was pulling the horses over there.
Yeah.
When
yeah.
you guys went. Oh, okay. I thought it was over here. Oh, okay.
No, it was it was in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so he would come down. I could see him coming down this trail, on this horse, and having 4 or 5 horses behind him, pack string, and man, it was just like my whole world was right there. That's what I
Wanted to do.
yeah.
So you sold everything. Okay.
Man, I must be starting my period or something. I'm all emotional. Oh God, yeah. So I asked
Bob,
him.
you don't talk about it much.
I
right?
know, yeah. So
You
I
don't
asked
talk
him.
about it much, so that when you do talk about it,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think
close to
about
thy
it,
heart.
but yeah,
Okay.
it is. Yeah. So I asked if I could go up and work for Will, and he said, my Uncle Gil, said, well, I'll have to talk to Will and see if you can come up and just work for your room and board or whatever. And so that day he left, and he rode back up to the lodge. The lodge you couldn't drive to the lodge. It was 7 miles by horseback up the St. Joe River. And it was a wild and scenic river, so there was no motorized vehicles allowed. It was all horseback or,
still till this day.
yeah, to this day, yeah. There's no road. There's just a trail, trail. You cross the river 6 times, and it's pretty epic, man. It's
Why can't you
it's
cross
a
it once?
dream.
No, I'm kidding.
yeah, it's pretty amazing. And so he came back down the next morning, and we talked and had coffee and breakfast, and he visited with his wife and kids and stuff, and we were all getting ready to leave, come back home. And he told me that he talked to Will, and Will said, yeah, I could stay there. I was 16. And Will said, yeah, I could stay there and work for my room and board for a couple weeks until I started school back up again, because school was out for the summer. And
This was like what, June?
May? Yeah, yeah.
June? Okay.
Yeah. And so I worked up there for those couple weeks, just work room and board. And when so he was going out on his 4 days off. We got 4 days off a month, and so he brought me back home on his 4 days off. And I didn't want to.
Wait, he brought you back here?
Yeah, he brought me back here. Yeah, but I knew that my life was up there. I knew that I wasn't here. Is not where I was going to be. And so I went back to school. And all I could think about was packing horses and being up at the mountains. And this is hard to believe, but this is totally real.
Mm-hmm.
I told my counselor that I was quitting school,
No.
that I wanted to quit school, and I was going to go to the mountains and pack horses.
Before you were done with school.
Yeah. she called my parents and they all talked about it. And then we had a meeting the next day at school. And
Mm. Wait, when was this? This is right before school started? Like right before 12th grade started?
no, I was still in 11th grade. Yeah. We were just on summer vacation. So I was in summer vacation, and then school had started again, 11th grade, and that's when I said I don't want to be here. I'm flunking out. My grades weren't that good. There was nothing that I.
So what did you finish? 10th?
No, I was in 11th grade.
Okay.
I was in 11th
So
grade.
when were you talking to her? In the summer? So that's you
No,
already would be going into 12th technically.
no,
You
no, no,
you
no,
didn't
no.
go to
We were
12th.
on summer vac. No, no, no. We were spring break, not summer.
Oh, spring
Sorry.
break.
Spring
Oh.
break. Spring break. Yeah, there we
So
go.
it wasn't summer then when you went there.
No, no, no. It was spring. Yeah, it was spring break. Yeah.
So it was like
It
March
was
or April.
no, yeah, it
Spring
was
break is
April or
March,
May.
April.
Yeah.
May? No, May
April?
is out. May school is out.
Yeah.
May, June is when school is out completely for summer.
Um
So when'd you go up
yeah,
there
I
to
don't
camp?
remember. Yeah. I
It
don't
was
remember.
spring break.
It was spring break. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's probably like March, April.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
and you
was
said
Ap-
you're
it
not
had to
going
be
back.
April.
You didn't want to
Yeah.
go back.
Yeah, because I wasn't doing very good, and I couldn't see that school was doing anything for me that I didn't already.
No.
I knew what I wanted to do with my life, and it was had nothing to do with school.
Mhm.
And so I my parents went in there
Mhm.
and we were all sitting in the counselor's office, and I'll never forget my dad. My counselor said, "Well, Bob told me that he wanted to quit school and he wanted to go to the mountains packing horse, or go up and work at the lodge." And my parents, I didn't, I hadn't talked to my parents about this, but they knew how I felt about it. And my dad said, "Well, we're gonna back him with whatever he wants to do. We're gonna support him." And man, it was just like
At 16, that's crazy.
it's like a weight was lifted off me, because I thought maybe I was going to stay in school
Mhm.
and fight that, and they knew I wouldn't. They knew I wouldn't. I would leave. And so that was it. Get this. My counselor said, "Well, what are you going to do if something happens to you up there? What are you going to do if you break your neck?"
No way. Dude,
Isn't that weird?
I know
dude?
this sounds crazy, but what if
So
for
she's
some
got some
stupid
black magic. No.
no, I'm saying like for some dumb reason, let's just say what if she went home and like in her mind cursed you like, "Oh, this
Oh,
guy,
hey.
oh, I wish
Oh,
he was
hey.
not going to make it." You
I
know what I
know,
mean? Like
yeah.
what if that happened?
Oh yeah, I know.
Cuz
Something
that
like
stuff is for real.
Oh, absolutely
Like
it
you
is.
curse people like
Especially out of Cheney. That liberal.
well, yeah. That's what I'm
crap
saying.
sack
Like
of a
what if
town.
what if she actually did that cuz she was like, taking matters in her own hands or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, I
you
know.
Cuz
And-
like dude, that stuff will
Oh yeah,
mess with
absolutely it
people.
will. Absolutely it will. Yeah. So I came home, and I don't know. I called my.
Did you ever talk to her again?
No.
She called a teacher. Like, remember when
no.
you said that?
I remember her last
Come
name
here.
was Wilson too, just like mine, Mrs. Wilson. Weird.
Wow.
But so I called my Aunt Vicky, and I told her. My Aunt Vicky was Uncle Gil's wife, and so she called Red Eyes Ranger Station, and we had no phone. There's no way of getting a hold of anybody at the lodge except for two-way radio. But the only two-way radio that was close enough was Red Eyes Ranger Station. So she called Red Eyes Ranger Station, and then told them, and then Red Eyes called the lodge on the radio, and 2 days later I was sitting at base camp, and they had a horse down there for me, and
That's awesome.
that was it, man. My
And then you
life had
just-
begun.
And then you just started working.
And then I started working, and I was a dumb kid, and I thought I knew everything already, and got my ass handed
Wait,
to
did
me
you
a lot of days because the
you-
work was rough.
did you ride horses before?
No,
Or you didn't do any of that?
I rode a horse here. I had a horse
Oh, okay.
that I'd broken trained, and
But then
But then
Like,
when
that
I
was
got
a
up
different.
there, I was a 16-year-old boy working with grown men, you
Mhm.
know, and I mean, I was big. I was 200 pounds and 6'1", but dumb, you know. I didn't know how to pack. I didn't, you know. Will was 5'4" and 165 pounds, and that guy could outwork me all day long. And so I
Will's
definitely,
the boss.
yeah, Will was the owner and the boss, yeah. So that was that life,
So
and
your Uncle Gil taught you everything up there.
he
Or
taught me how to pack. Him and Will taught me how to pack, how to take care of the horses, how to saddle horses for, pack saddles. We used Decker pack saddles. Um, yeah, it was, and I want to get into that with a lot more detail, but
into the
into
yeah,
all of that. So yeah,
all the stories.
yeah.
You kind of touched on some stories before, like cougars
Oh
or
yeah.
something that you told me that you met like on the trails. Wait, what is it? What is it that you guys did? Like 100%? Like what did you
So
pack?
so
What'd you
they
pack?
would book guests. We were a guest ranch,
Mm-hmm.
so they would book guests into. We would have people come up there with fly fishing. The St. Joe River is one of the top 10 fly fishing rivers in the whole United States,
Wow.
and for catch and release cutthroat, wild cutthroat.
Mm.
And so we would have people book from all over the world to come, and
Dude,
we would pack them. Yeah,
you know
I
what?
packed in. I packed in two famous people.
Who?
Richard Farnsworth, which was a cowboy from Yuma, Arizona, actor,
Wow.
cowboy and an actor, and Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, right.
No,
Are
seriously.
you kidding me?
Oh yeah,
Are you
yeah,
listening to this?
yeah,
No way.
yeah, yep.
Dude,
Him and
you know
his
who
brother.
you know who I bet has been there or probably wants to go if he hasn't? Steve, my buddy. Cuz
Yeah.
he's like every one of his videos is fly fishing, catch
Nice.
release, cutthroat. That's
Oh
all
yeah,
he does.
man. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure
And the
he's
St. Joe is an amazing
I
river,
think he
especially
even has a
when you get
video.
up that high. The fish are big, and because they're catch and release.
Mhm.
Down below in St. Mary's area,
Wait, you can't eat them?
No, it's catch and release.
Only?
Yep.
No
Only.
way.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know if I could do that. I
We
might catch
did and
eat
we didn't.
on the spot.
We did and we didn't. Yeah. Yeah. We caught some. And
So it
ate
was
some.
mostly for fishing and hunting.
Mostly for fishing during the summertime, and then like a lot of our clientele was fly fishermen, and then they'd bring their families up there, and they'd be on the river fly fishing while their families were just hanging out at the lodge, kids playing, doing whatever, and then we had a hunting outfit, or the hunting part of it. So we'd book hunters. We had drop camps. Hunters would book a drop camp, and we'd set up a camp tent up in the woods
Mhm.
and get all the firewood cut and everything. We'd pack them in and drop them and leave them. And then we had guided hunts too out of the lodge. So they would use our equipment to go do their own hunt. But then we had guided hunts out of the lodge where people would book into the lodge and they'd stay at the lodge, and then Will would guide them. And we had a couple other elk hunters that would guide too.
Mhm. So you guys would pack like all the elk, firewood,
Everything.
water, you name it.
Yeah, everything. We pack everything in. Pack our propane in for
You
fuel,
have pictures of any of that?
food. Yeah, I got
couple
some
pictures?
Yeah, a couple pictures. Yeah, yeah.
We'll have to like post some.
Yeah.
Just like, kind of see like.
I have to tell you a story about Steve Barnes, our elk guide that we hired out of Utah, I think, or Pocatello, Idaho. He was a Mormon,
Same
strict
place. It's really
Mormon.
close.
Yeah, strict Mormon. Had 7 daughters. 7
Only?
daughters. Yeah,
I mean, like, that's it? Just daughters? No sons?
yeah. No sons. 7 daughters.
Dude, that's weird.
And he
coming from
came
a
up
Mormon.
there, and he was a short, big, stocky guy, and he introduced himself to us, and real nice, polite guy. But he'd stay at the lodge. He'd stay at the lodge with us, And I remember saying to him one day, I said, "I've never heard you cuss, Steve." And he said, "Yeah, I don't I've never used
Mormon?
I've never used a cuss word. And Will looked at him and said, "Well, you're working with 32 horses. I guarantee by the end of the week you'll be cussing." Sure enough.
Why? Because they're just like stubborn. and-
Yeah, because you got to fight with these stupid horses. It's cold. They don't want to work. You don't want to work. It's muddy. Yeah.
I mean, but that's the memory part of it.
Yeah.
You know, imagine if it was easy.
Oh no, that was the best part of it. I remember walking around in the mud that was 6-8 inches deep, and yeah, pretty amazing. Yeah.
Actually, I want to go up there sometime
Yeah.
just to see it.
Yeah, I know.
Like, 'cause I'm sure it's pretty. Cause
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, I want to go up there
It's in
this
Montana?
summer. No, it's in Idaho.
it's in Idaho, so
Yeah.
none of it goes into Montana.
No, it's on the St. Joe Clearwater Divide.
So it's
St.
north.
Joe National Forest, Clearwater National Forest. It's right in the middle of it. It's on the divide. Yeah, and there's a lot of stories about that place that I'll tell. I'm getting cold.
Kidding.
So I think maybe we ought to
That's
wrap
gonna
this one up.
Okay.
So yeah, there'll be more later on.
All right.
There'll be definitely
When you do this again, every week, once a week. No, I'm kidding.
because
Every week, 3 times a week.
Because, like your shirt says, this is the measure of life.
Yep.
We
All right,
got
guys.
We got a lot of
See ya
stuff.
later,
And
alligator.
Buck needs some attention.
I know, yeah, dude. This kid's like, or not kid. He's
Buck
like a
needs
kid.
some attention.
Okay, dude. See ya.
Well, if you want, the camera's on him and.
Yeah, that's fine. They don't need to see you. They can hear you. Went to the mountains packing horses. Well, when I went to the mountains packing horses out of high school, I got hired on as a start over.
You just lost it. What happened?
Time for my dog to have some.
Dude, shut I was like, dude, show them.
Time for my dog wants some attention.
I'm joking. Can't get out. He's like, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Bob's feet don't work. Dude, this dog is going crazy.
No, Buck. No. Sorry, man.
Time out. Dude. So. I'm kidding. Okay, it was a joke. Got him again. Anyways, you look like you're peeing on yourself.
Yeah,
You've been what? You
I
poured
spilt it.
You spilt it again.
Well, there wasn't very much in there.
Bob, first of all, how do you use your fingers? I'm kidding. Thanks for talking. See you next time. I'm kidding. I don't
Over
know.
now, Roger.